I see some very familiar faces of women in this room, and there's so many of you that I'm excited to get to know through Women for Trump here tonight and many of our future events. Of course, I see some gentlemen across the room as well, so we're happy to have all of you this evening. You know, I was on the way up tonight from Canton, and I was thinking a lot about, not only how blessed I am to have been asked to be one of the chairwomen for Women for Trump, for the president, but how blessed I am to be a woman living in the United States of America. As we celebrate the 90th anniversary of women's suffrage in our country, and of course, Ohio was the first state to ratify a women's right to vote, let's not forget it. But as we get ready to celebrate this anniversary, there are so many women across the world that can only dream of the rights that so many of us take for granted here today. And so I'm so blessed to live in the greatest country in the world and to set an example for countries everywhere and for women to strive to do what so many of the women and men before us fought for us to have these rights. And so I'm very blessed. And of course, not only do we live in the greatest country in the world, but we have the greatest leader in the world as well. So we had our official national launch of Women for Trump in Pennsylvania. We had it in King of Prussia just, I think, about 6 weeks ago now. And I want to share with you a little bit about what we've been doing and who else is working really, really hard on Women for Trump. And so we have 6 incredible co-chairs in addition to myself. And we've all been working together with Laura Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Katrina Pearson, Kaylee McEnany, Mercedes Schlapp. These women have been setting the stage for women across the country. Women like you and I in states like Ohio, in the Midwest, and everywhere to show their support and to step forward and help ensure a re-election victory for this president in 2020. Some of the other incredible co-chairs on the Women for Trump board include Pam Bondi. I don't know if you guys know Pam from Fox News. Incredible attorney, fabulous woman, and she's a fighter for this president. We have Denise Morelli, we have Dr. Gina Loudon, we have Katrina Campins, we have Stacey Dash, some of you guys know Stacey from the movie Clueless. We truly have an incredible group of women and fighters, and along with people like Jane Timken, state parties across this country, we're going to make sure that President Trump wins in 2020. Now, I've known this president for 6 years, and the one thing that always stuck out to me from the very first time I met this president until now is how much he truly cares. And this is something we don't hear a lot about, and we don't see a lot about in the media. I mean, a lot of you have heard, and we talk about it on Fox News, Media Research Center did a great study. Over 92% negative media coverage of this president and of this administration. That's actually pretty scary. When it came to the Russian collusion story, which of course fake news, 97% negative media coverage. And so you don't hear a lot about the incredible accomplishments, promises made, promises kept, that this president's, of course, been able to accomplish and produce results. But you especially don't hear anything about this president's character as a person. I was with the president in New York just 2 weeks ago, and I got to talk to him a little bit about 2020. He's feeling really, really good. Of course, about the results that he's produced. But he's, I think, definitely concerned that not everybody is hearing about this result. So he's counting on people like you and I to spread the real facts in our communities, in our workplace, for the young people in the room, in your schools, in your classes, to your friends, to your families, because this is so vitally important when it comes to that re-election. Because as Jane said before, what we're facing is an opposition we can't afford. We can't afford socialist policies in this country. It would not only tear down the progress that he's made, but it would put us in a position, I think, that we wouldn't be able to come back from for generations to come. So what are some of the results that we're most excited about? I know there's a lot of people in this room that have children. Who has children in the room? Okay, so for those of you that have children, I'm sure you were excited that last year your child care tax credit doubled to $2,000. On top of that, our taxes went down. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it was hard to pass. The president got that through. Now, Americans, not just in Ohio, but across this country, are benefiting. We're saving money on our taxes, and it's making it a better place, of course, for businesses to thrive as well. So I'm really excited about that. Unemployment. We're hitting lows, 50-year lows nationally, but for women specifically, we've hit a 66-year low in unemployment numbers. 5.5 million jobs have been created since President Trump took office, but something I actually don't hear much about is the fact that 57% of these jobs went to women. So we have 3.2 million jobs still waiting. In the first year that President Trump took office, over 600,000 women were lifted from poverty in this country. Next up, when we win re-election next year, the president's committed, along with his incredible daughter Ivanka, to paid family leave and making sure that we can utilize what has changed due to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act to move money around so that people in their taxes can use that for paid family leave when they have children. So we're gonna be continuing to focus on middle-class American families and making life better for them. A couple other things that I think are very important to Ohio include the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative, WeFi. Many of you have heard about this. For those that haven't, it's gonna bring up to $1 million to support women entrepreneurship opportunities. So this is incredible and the president helped launch this. And of course, we want to buy American. And so with the president's Buy American executive order, it's now mandated that 95% of steel and iron and federal manufacturing contracts must be made in American firms. That's going to have a direct impact on close to 100,000 jobs right here in the state of Ohio. So I'm so excited about these results when it comes to the economy, it comes to job numbers, but of course on top of that, there's so much else. We look at our federal court system. The president promised to elect justices and to appoint judges to the federal bench that would respect the text of our Constitution, that would protect our Second Amendment rights, protect the lives of the unborn. And that's exactly what we've done. We've seen these openings on the courts fill at unprecedented rates with solid conservative justices, and this is, I think, going to be an accomplishment, maybe the most important accomplishment of the administration, because it's going to have an impact that's lasting and affects our country for generations to come. So your children, your grandchildren, their grandchildren, their rights are going to be protected. And when you look back at 2016, why did a lot of people who were hesitant, not everybody in this room was a day one Trump supporter. A lot of people were hesitant. He made promises that, frankly, a lot of you probably weren't sure if he was going to keep. But this issue, I think specifically, is one of the reasons why a lot of people have now jumped the fence and are solid Trump supporters, because he kept this promise, which was so vitally important to us here in Ohio. I'm sure many of you either have a family member or friend or know someone who has a family member or friend who's been affected by the opioid epidemic. If you do, you can take pride in the fact that this president is working hard to secure our border, where we've seen enough fentanyl come over to kill a significant portion of our population. I mean, it's out of control, it's very scary. I know people who have been affected and have lost family members do this. It really breaks my heart, and this is something that I keep a strong focus on in supporting the president on this issue, because of course it's multifaceted. It's not just the border, but this is a great start because our border's been insecure. It's not about just who comes over, it's about what's coming over our border. So we want to build that wall. And of course, amen. And the list goes on. I can talk all night, but these are some of the things I've been very, very excited about. I'm so proud of our president. I'm excited about what he's going to do between now and 2020 and what he'll do with 4 more years. So it's going to be a great night tonight, a night to empower for Women for Trump. But what I want to know is, who has a cell phone in this room? Okay, I see a lot of hands. Who has texted Empower to 88022? If your hand's not up, I want you to take your cell phone out right now. Everybody take your phones out. This is going to be how Women for Trump as a coalition, how we can stay in touch with you to keep you updated on events, on what's going on nationally, on what's going on here in Ohio. and we want to make sure that you're on this list. So text EMPOWER to 88022 now. And the campaign's going to be keeping in touch with everybody that way. It's a super simple way to stay in touch. Of course, we're also on social media. Check out Women for Trump 20 on Instagram and on Facebook. We have an email list that you can sign up for. And again, that number is 88022. And I'll be around at the end of the event as well with cards. If you have any questions or want to talk to me, I'll still be here. Or if you want the number again, I can, give it to you guys again. But before I hand off the mic, I want to take a video that I want to bring to the president with all of you. So at a lot of the rallies, we've been doing the 4 more years chant. So if you can all get excited, let's get up, let's get our signs, and let's let the president know that here in Ohio, we want 4 more years. All right. I know. I don't know if we have fake news media here today, but I know we have some media. They look pretty friendly. Okay. Are you guys ready? Or are you